Morning guys, Ben here from 100 Man, and we have 8 days. 8 days, 20 hours till Ironman. And I'd love to say I'm feeling unbelievably fit, well, happy, vibrant. Everything is perfect, but I can't because I'm tired. Yesterday was a busy day. I haven't had a day like that for a long time. Didn't get to bed till just before 1 o'clock this morning, which is not ideal. But I've got a couple of projects which are coming to the end now, so it was a bit of finish off the commitments that I needed to submit. So I managed only really to get about 5 hours sleep, and I've got a double training session today. But there's no point being anything but positive about it, simply because the choice is mine. And when you make the choice to do something, you also make the choice to fulfill those choices. All the time they're congruent with your alignment, with your legacy statement, with your life strategy. And it was interesting really, because I was speaking to my son this morning about it, about careers, about job choices, about what we should be doing, what we are expected to do in society based on the demands of needs and wants, really. And we were talking about a lesson that he has at school at the moment about jobs and careers, and about managing a certain amount of expectations. And I'm very fortunate to communicate with my son in a way in which that he knows that the education system is flawed, that it is very much about social conformity. And I've mentioned this before in one of my daily videos, where I'm saying, look, you know, if you're not happy, then you have the choice to change. And actually, just linking it, it's funny because it's synchronized with another. I had a meeting with a company in New York yesterday, and they asked me what some of my goals and aspirations were and what we hope to achieve on a certain venture. And for me, it's very much about not applying any time restrictions or any growth restrictions, but trusting that what you're doing is right for you. Because the money, the fame, all that stuff is just a byproduct of truth. You get unbelievable singers, the Mariah Careys of the world, the Whitney Houstons of the world, the Michael Jacksons of the world, the Princes of the world, the Beatles, the Elton Johns. All of these people forget for a moment the other stuff, but they're working in alignment to self, and the money was just a byproduct, really. Excuse me. Doesn't matter how good a singer I may want to be, I would say it's probably almost impossible for me to be a good quality actor or singer. It's just not. I don't have that natural born talent, that passion, that desire to be anything like that. Therefore, it doesn't matter how much marketing, PR, stuff you try and shoehorn into selling an album. It's no good. You might sell a few. It's you're never going to leave a legacy statement behind that is worth anything really than to massage your own ego. Like I was saying, if something's in alignment to self, is true to self. And the money and all of the other bits and pieces really come as a result of just doing what you love. If you're unhappy in a job, bear in mind that after I left the forces, no one would give me a job because they thought I was overqualified and underaged, and had people questioning whether the military had just given away a load of qualifications. So I went to a military college and then obviously utilised the military as a system to re-qualify in a number of different fields. People don't really get that. So it's a fantastic way, and they don't offer any limitations based on age, where I found Civvy Street, or the rest of the world did. You can't be an expert at 20 because you can't. Well, I know a couple of pianists who started playing when they were 2, and they're better than most experts, and they haven't even reached adulthood yet. So from there, from being unemployable, had to go on the benefit system to eat, and ended up scrubbing dishes in a restaurant, working as a security guard, working 9 till 5, 40 hours a week ish, selling cars. Had 3 and 4 jobs at one point just to get back in a rhythm of working in Civvy Street. So I'm not saying that it's all been an easy ride for me. In actual fact, the first 5 years within my industry I earned very little. I had to borrow to pay my mortgage, live off credit cards, live off the debt system, and have the faith in myself that that was where I would be aligned to. And as a result, it's paid off. And I never lose sight, and I'm very, very rooted still to that kind of way of living. But what I would say is that you have to have that belief. You have to do what you want to do in life. There is no point waking up in the morning unhappy about going to work. I find it crazy that you'll work for 40 years, and then there was a national statistic of death after retirement that I saw a while ago now, 7 years. What is the point in going to work for 40 years for somebody else doing stuff that you don't like doing, only to die, statistically, 7 years later? Now, that's madness. Why not work for 7 years if you have to do something you don't enjoy doing? Work for 7 years, 24 hours a day, withdraw the equity from your house, have the belief that you can make it happen, commit fully, and then after those 7 years, if you've not done it, then you know there's not alignment. But again, you've got to work from a place of honesty in that respect. But everyone has the ability to follow through with their dreams, follow through with stuff they want to do. And this is what I was saying to Joseph, my son, who's 12 tomorrow. You know, he's in his imprint period now. He's in the period of his life where he's deciding in himself where he kind of fits in society, in that hierarchy. some people don't necessarily have that either support structure as a child or the openness to discuss it, but then frustrate me to a certain degree when they live in that space, they live in that box for the rest of their life. That's one thing that another thing that this Ironman journey has taught me is that you gotta really love training. You gotta really love this fitness world to really commit to something like this. Because if you don't, it's just impossible. It will just be impossible. It will become a burden and an aggravation every time you put on your trainers, or you head to the gym, or you put your goggles on. Sure, there's going to be days where you're not interested in doing it. That's natural. Have highs and lows, but if you really don't want to do it, training for 140.6 is just, you need to be in it. And I think perhaps maybe those people that do train for the longer endurance stuff perhaps had aspirations during their adolescence of doing something within the fitness world, maybe. I don't know. So, the message is of this morning, if you're not happy with what you're doing in your career choice, it is not too late. It is not too late. Don't spend another day doing something that you don't like doing to service debt, to service your bills. And if you're fearful and you've got a 9 till 5 job and you can't release it because you have family and children to feed, and you're not fortunate enough to have an element of equity to withdraw, or a financial support structure that allows you to go and do something like that, then another option is, rather than sitting there of the evening watching telly, if you do that, then invest that time, spend those 4 hours after work, spend the time on your commute on the way home brainstorming. These things have dictate options. Stick your headphones in, start dictating blogs and articles. When you're on the turbo trainer for 5 hours a week, get your computer next to you, start dictating, start looking up websites that you like the look of, brands that you like the look of. Do you have a coffee break? Grab a pen from the barista, start scribbling logos on your coffee mat, on your serviette. There are so many opportunities to be developing your own business outside of a working environment. Buy a diary, start writing in just one thing to do per day. You know, get a free website up and running, buy the domain, get that stuff done. Let it take a week to happen. If you're doing it right now, today, then you're going to be a week ahead in a week's time. You do nothing today, you're already a week behind. And if you've been having this thought for a long time now and you've not taken any kind of action whatsoever, then you're months, perhaps even years behind that aspiration. If you want to be a PT or an endurance trainer or something along those lines, and you've not done it yet, it's going to cost you no more than $500 to get a website and an element of branding done and a blog-based site. Nothing, it's peanuts. If you want to go whole hog and have a branding, marketing campaigns, all that kind of stuff, then you're talking a lot more money. But you don't need that when starting out if it's going to be a sideline. Start building that following. YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, LinkedIn, they're all free. Set a page up on all of those. If you've been following me, you'll see the progression of what I've done with mine over the last 100 days. Go and have a look, see where I'm posting stuff, see what I'm doing. Make it 10% better. You know, this isn't my career, this is a hobby for me. Putting this stuff together. If I can do it in 100 days, build a brand, a small following, put out some useful content, and it's not my full-time job, then you can as well. Look at what I've done, duplicate it and make the content specific to you. It's not rocket science. So, I hope an element of that from this morning has been helpful. I've been talking for a long time and went off on a few deviants. Do what you got to do today to make your life worthwhile. That's it. Simple. Summed up in just a few words. So now I'm off for a ride. It's a spin session at the gym. I don't know how far I've got to go. Haven't even looked this morning. I've just put the stuff, all my kit in my bag in there. I've got a meeting at 11 o'clock. Crikey. A couple of hours. A few hour meeting, and then this evening I have a swim this evening, it's Thursday, and then potentially yoga. So that's it for now. I will catch up with you later. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you in a bit. Second session of the day done. So I just finished a 2,600 meter session in the pool. Very, very light and easy. 50 minutes. It's nice actually. Nice evening. Nice to get it done and dusted. I've got a nice and easy run tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that. The weather should be clear, so getting out over the downs, one of the usual and previous hacks. Divided the swim up into two 1,300 meters with a 5-second quick rest at the halfway mark, just to get down some electrolytes. Not that I was needing them, but I've been relatively thirsty all day today, so I've just been listening to the body really and getting that done. So that's it for today. Not excessively exciting. I think leading up to the final days now, it's going to be quite limiting on the amount of footage that I get. So bear with me, and please subscribe, and I will catch up with you first thing tomorrow. For now, peace out.